All right, what up, what up, what up, what up? You already know what to do. It's time to learn something new. All right, so I'm going to show you how to deploy your own platform as a service utilizing Coolify so that you can go ahead and get Langfuse up and running in the cloud along with other applications. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. So first, you're going to need a Hetzner account. So you can go ahead and click the login button here, click the cloud button, and of course, it's going to ask you to register and sign up. I've used AWS, I've used Azure in professional settings. I think right now for the small projects that we're doing and launching quickly, you can just use the server so you have some type of hosting that's relatively cheap. And for the small projects we're to be doing, this is great. So let's go ahead and add a project here. So once you log in, we're going to go ahead and create a project. So let's do that now. So we're going to go ahead and say bfill tuts. And we're going to click that project. And we're going to go ahead and add a server here. All right, so for me, I'm going to use Ashburn, Virginia. You want to select the location that's nearest to you so you can get the lowest latency. Next, we're going to use Ubuntu 24.04. Then we're going to go ahead and use the x86 Intel CPUs. And I recommend that we go ahead and go with the CPX21, and the creator of Coolify recommends this as well. But maybe you can get away with the CPX11. This is going to cost you about $7.05 a month. For what we're doing and the applications we're going to be deploying, this will suit you. This will give you a large amount of apps and a few databases. So you can go ahead and keep this particular selection. So we're going to public IPv6. We're going to go ahead and add an SSH key here. So let's go ahead and create this now. So we're going to go to our terminal. If you're on Windows, this works the same in PowerShell. So let's go ahead, and if you're Mac as well, it's the same. Let's go ahead and do SSH-keygen. We're going to hit enter here, and we're going to call this bfill learn. And we're not going to enter a paraphrase here, but you should to make this even more secure. So we're going to go ahead and find our key here. So we see here bfill learn, and we have bfill learn pub. We want to go ahead and get the text into bfill learn pub. So let's go cat bfill learn.pub, and we're going to take this public key, copy it, and we're going to dump it here. And we're going to set this. Actually, we're just going to go ahead and add an SSH key. So now you can just think of this key right now as the lock on your server. So you're going to need that private key, which we generated, and I didn't show you yet. You're going to need that to actually log into your server. So keep that in mind. We're going to go ahead and create a firewall later. You can leave all the rest just defaults. And let's just go ahead and name this bfill tut. And we're going to go ahead and create, and by now, you saw $7.55 in euros. 7 euros 55 pound. Look, I'm ignorant, so it's okay. All right, so let's go ahead, and there we go. Our server's up and running. So let's go ahead and preemptively go to the Coolify.io website, and we're gonna go to the docs, and we're gonna go ahead and select the self-hosted. Before we go ahead and do this, we want to go ahead and put up just very small security measures and log into our server. So we're going to go ahead and copy the IP address. We're going to go to our terminal, and we're going to go SSH -i, and we're going to go bfill learn. And now we're going to go ahead and do root at our IP server. So 5.161.92.78. And we're going to go ahead and save this fingerprint because we trust this actual host. And now we're just going to put some slight security measures in place. So first, we're going to go ahead and create a user. And what we're going to go ahead and do is, and I'll have these commands in a document for you so you can copy and paste. But we're going to go ahead and do user add -m -u -s. Right, and we want to put our actual environment or our shell that we want to use, and we're going to go ahead and add to a group, which is capital G. And then we're going to go ahead and add it to the pseudo group, and we're just going to call this user bfill. Now I'm going to go past WD bfield to reset the password, and I'm going to put something very secure here. If you can guess this and get in this before this tutorial is over, you win some money. Just kidding. All right, so we want to go ahead and let's go ahead and nano /Etsy, and we're going to go sshd underscore config. And in this file, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and do this permit root login, and we're going to actually say no here. No. But before we do this, let's just say no, actually, because we don't want to permit the root to log in. Actually, before we do this, let's go ahead and set up our key with our new user. So we're going to go ahead and Control X. We're going to say no, don't save the modified. And we're going to go ahead and exit really quickly. And we're going to say SSH in our terminal, our own computer. We're going to say SSH-copy-ID/I. And we're going to say bfill learn. And we're going to say bfill at this particular IP address. So it's going to copy our secret key there. So we're going to put the lock on this user. So now we should be able to do SSH. Let's go, and it says right there, right? Try SSH bfill at this user. And it looks like we're adding this. Okay, great. All right, great. So we have our key added, and it's still going to ask us for our password, which kind of defeats the purpose. But no matter, more security is always better. So let's go ahead, and now as we're in here, we'll go sudo su, put in our password, and we're going to go ahead and go back to that SSHD config, and you can probably press up a few times to find the more recent calls or commands. And we're going to disable root login. And we're just going to say no. Great. So now we're going to just say pub key authentication yes. And we want to find, I believe there's an option for password authentication, and we're going to say no here. All right, and we're going to exit this, hit yes, hit enter, and then we're going to exit this, and we're going to exit again. And now we're just going to go ahead and SSH with bfill, and as any pro knows, you need to go ahead and sudo systemctl restart SSH. And now we're going to exit. And now let's go ahead and log in as bfill. And we want to log in with our private key. So SSH I bfill learn. And we're good to go. Okay, so now we want to sudo su. And now we're going to start to install Coolify. All right, it's getting exciting now. I know all the grunt work is done. All the grunt work is done. We want to make sure that you're somewhat secure doing this. So we're going to go to the Coolify documentation. We're going to get this command, and we're just going to let it run. And if you're watching this, just go ahead and speed it up. This will probably be a raw cut. I'm trying to do single take. So you can go ahead and 2x speed this at this point to get to the next section. And in the future, I'll cut these down as I get more editing capacity for you. While we're waiting, let's go ahead and set up our firewall. So we're going to go ahead and navigate back to Hetzner. We're going to find the firewall tab, and we're going to hit create firewall. Now we have our port 22, we have our ICMP ping. We're going to go ahead and add a rule. And now what you want to do is you want to go, what is my IP at note to self. Okay, so you're gonna do what is my IP? Just search that in Google and you'll get your IP. And so I'm gonna move this from here now. But once you have that source there, you wanna go and leave TCP here, and then you wanna put port 8000. And then what you wanna do is you wanna leave the outbound rules the same, and we're just gonna leave it as firewall 1. So let me go ahead and put my IP address here, create the firewall. Okay, so now we should be good to go. Let's see if our Hetzner instance, or it looks like our Coolify instance, is up and running. And we're gonna go ahead and do this. Great. So now we're gonna put a name. So we'll put bfill, and we'll say Phillips Brandon IT gmail.com, and we're gonna put a password here. Awesome. We're gonna hit register. All right, never save. And we're gonna go ahead and skip the onboarding here. Okay, so now what we need to actually do is we need to go and open up additional ports. And so we're gonna go back to our firewall. I'm gonna move this off screen for now. All right. And what we wanna do is we wanna add 2 additional rules. And we want port 80 and we want port 443. And we want this from anywhere. So remember we had this port 8000. You want to leave this one here with your own IP address for now until we go ahead and lock down this particular server to just use HTTPS. All right, great. So I'm going to go ahead and put my IP address back here. 1 second here. And while you're waiting, go ahead and do this particular step. I'm going to save these changes, and great. Now we should be good to go. All right, so I'm going to navigate back to my Hetzner instance, and you'll just see the same thing here. Okay, so now we have this. And so we have localhost, we have this domain, and what we want to do is you want to go ahead and, of course, have your own domain here. For the sake of this tutorial, we'll just use this raw IP address, but just know you can go ahead and add your domain rather simply. So now we have our Hetzner instance set up. Let's go ahead and deploy Coolify here. So what we'll go ahead and do is we'll go to, well, first and foremost, we want to go ahead and go to our server. We want to validate the server really quickly. Server's updated. And we save this. We want to continue. Refresh. So, got it. So we actually denied the actual login here. So we want to go ahead and permit the root to log in with the SSH key. So we want to go ahead and say prohibit password. So let's go back to our instance here, and we'll go ahead and nano this. Excuse me. And let's go ahead and say prohibit password. All right. Great. So we'll go ahead and exit out of here, hit yes, and save that. So let's go ahead and restart the server. So we'll go systemctl restart SSH, and we'll clear that, and then we'll validate the server one more time. All right, we're good to go. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and go to our proxy here, and we're going to go ahead and stop this proxy. And since we're here, we should be good to go on this port 8000. And we're going to go ahead and click switch proxy. Then we want to go ahead and select caddy. And let's go ahead and restart the proxy. And we'll see here when it goes ahead and starts. So we'll just give this a quick moment. In the meantime, what we'll do is we'll navigate to the Langfuse website, so langfuse.com. And let's go to the docs, and we'll click the self-hosted option, and we'll say self-host with Docker. And we're just going to need these actual variables here. So what I'll actually do is I'll give you these down below, but we're going to go ahead, I'll give you the Docker image down below as well. There's going to be a download for it, but I'm going to give you the whole compose. So you want to go ahead and make sure this should all work out of the box. Let's go ahead. Yeah, I'm going to show you this really quickly. So let's go here. It's connecting to the Coolify network. All right, we got our proxy running. We're good to go. So let's go ahead and go to projects. We're going to add a project. We're going to call this Langfuse. We're going to go to production. We're going to add a new resource. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a Docker compose. And what I've done is I've slightly doctored this Docker compose file. And we have something called a secret in assault. So for these, this is where you want to go ahead and change that for your own particular needs, but the rest is going to ultimately be the same. And we're going to use the defaults for a Postgres database as well. So I'm going to go ahead and use this local standalone. And so just to explain here, this is going to run on port 3000. This is going to be our Postgres database. You want to go ahead and change this secret. You want to change this salt as well. And you want to go ahead, you can leave this localhost 3000. So this is what it looks like here. So we'll just go ahead and put this HTTP in front of it. So we'll go HTTP, localhost. Great. Looks like everything is good for now. We'll hit save. And once we've saved that, we want to go ahead and add some environment variables. So you see they're already added, so we're good to go. And so we're going to click deploy. And what this is going to do is it's just going to download the Langfuse Docker container, which is going to allow you to run Docker on your server right now. So let's see here, it's spinning up our container and it looks like it's started already. So let's just go ahead and see what's up with it. Go to our configuration and we should be able to click here on this Langfuse and let's actually click this links button and we'll just navigate via the IP. So what we actually want to do now is we want to go ahead and open up our firewall port to allow us to connect on port 3000. So we're going to go again, right, firewalls, and we're going to go to our firewall. I'm going to move this off so my IP address isn't exposed. And I'm going to add a rule, and I'll bring this back over. Great. So you want to add this rule and you want to put your IP address here. For now, I'm going to put any and I'm going to put 3000 and I'm going to go ahead and save changes. Great. So now we have our Langfuse instance and it works. So we're going to go ahead and go here and we want to sign up actually. So there is some environment variables that slightly screwed this up. So we want to go ahead and remove this next public sign up. and we can look at this. This is false, and we want to set this to true. And then we want to go ahead and pull and restart, because we want to be able to sign up since we don't have an account. All right, we're going to go ahead and reset this, and I think, all right, yeah. So I didn't update it. Make sure you press the update button so that it saves it. And we'll just do pull and restart again. And we should be able to be good here now. So not quite yet. So maybe we have to actually remove it. Remove it and we'll save it. And we'll do pull and restart. And we'll go here again. Let's stop this entire service. So it's exited, and let's hit this deploy button one more time. And this should, okay, so we are running into some, okay, so let's remove auto disable sign up here. We're going to take that out of our Docker Compose. We're going to save that, and we're going to pull latest image. Awesome. Now we should be good to go. All right, we're going to click this sign up button, bfill, Phil's Brandon IT, and we're going to go, we're going to set a nice strong password. All right, so now we can go ahead and set a new project. And generate our API key. And of course, as I showed you in the previous tutorial, you do that and you're good to go. So now you actually have your own, oh, hold on, this isn't the actual one. It rerouted to localhost, so let's do this. All right, now we're here and we do this project, and let's say project X. Great, now you can go down here into settings and you can go ahead and create new API key. And now you have your API key where you can have your logging. Now, of course, the next steps for you would be to go ahead and create your domain and go ahead and connect your domain. I'll create an additional video if you all want to see that, but for now, this is how you do it. You can find the Docker Compose file in a file below, and hopefully you learned something today. So y'all have a wonderful day. Peace.